Welcome to Namaste today, a joyful way to start your day. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Sensei Christopher Witecki. Namaste. Well, my friends, today is the most the number 3 can get. I don't know if you know numerology. I don't know if you know my step astrology, but today is step 21 when it starts to get fun, which adds to a 3 in the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by 3. Indeed, 3 is a magic number. And in today's tea time, we're going to talk about why do things happen in 3s in the universe. It is by heaven's design. But first, let's check on your emotional moodcast and the zodiac weather. Today, for the entire Earth global consciousness, I'm predicting it to be a sunny day and chatty and or pensive. Step 21 rules the day. This is when it starts to get fun. This is when we cross an emotional bridge, basically, that's based on our heart's interest. We learn, we expand, something new opens up. But on top of this, we're in countdown now for a full moon in Gemini, which means in the next 24 hours, we might wrestle with an idea and our minds might get in arguments with ourselves or others, only to come full circle or perhaps change our plan altogether. Let's start with step 21, my friends. Today, you're trying to put your pieces together. Over the weekend, the sun crossed over Saturn, and that means things might have gotten serious. Perhaps you are happy or unhappy with the results. That's okay. Step 21 today promises to open up new doors. And so although we've looked at our life very seriously in the last 36 hours, it's actually time now to look for the fun, particularly in Sagittarius. The one in that step 21 is love, which means we should be following something our heart loves. And Sagittarius is I believe, which means we should be only following the beliefs that we love. So if you have a breakdown in the next 24, 36 hours with this full moon or step 22 tomorrow, it's likely because you are not following your heart or you are not following your beliefs or both. Now this full moon in Gemini actually apexes tomorrow evening in the United States, and this may literally become an argument that goes on between your thoughts, your feelings, and really your beliefs. And that's what we're trying to get to the nitty-gritty here on, is a conversation with ourselves between what we believe and what our heart is behind and what our mind and rhetoric is saying. Now today with step 21, I really encourage you to open your mind to new ideas. I encourage you to open the doors to unlimited possibilities and try to keep that smartass, which is what I affectionately call our mind, from staying in kind of rut circular conversation. That's one of the difficult things when the moon goes full in Gemini. We become chatty, and if our mind is usually filled with a lot of negativity or circular thinking or second guessing or whatever, that full moon just empowers it and turns up the volume. So the first thing you got to do is make sure that mind is working for you, not against you. And in the next 36 hours, really 24, I expect you to let go of some of your thinking with the full moon, and you will likely fine-tune or edit your personal belief or direction about yourself or your life. Making this moment even more tense is the Sun and Saturn trining Uranus and Aries. This is a lot of powerful fire energy that's really promoting you to stand up and to evolve your character, Uranus and Aries. That also means evolve the actions you take. Because according to Aries, what you do is what makes you. The actions make you. So you're looking at changing your actions, you're looking at changing your character, you're looking at standing up in a new strength in yourself. And if you're not looking to stand in a new strength in yourself, well, maybe you're feeling weak and like you don't have the energy, which is the same thing, by the way. You want to be looking for your strong side right now, which is why you may feel weak or lazy. But you're trying to tie this character into a new belief, a new direction, a fresh approach. And unfortunately, it's a little serious because the sun's on Saturn. And so we tend to be a little over-judgmental of ourselves right now, a little too critical. And really that Saturn needs to be there to do critical problem solving, not critical problem making. So the sun trining Uranus right now is making things intense. And then on top of that, Mercury is beginning to conjunct Pluto. Now, Pluto is the planet of death, if you don't know. And so thoughts might get a little morbid. This might be that time in the winter where you just kind of feel icky about everything. Well, the Mercury on Pluto means that we're ready to let go and let some thinking die, to let old thinking die. So I really think this full moon in Gemini, as it starts out today, is about really identifying some of that thinking that needs to die. And some of that thinking is probably holding you and everyone else back on the planet from believing 100%. You got some critic in your back of your mind, chatting it away, saying the same thing over and over, doesn't mean anything, doesn't lead to anything. And so I think Mercury conjuncting Pluto says, let's let that old stuff go. By the way, Mercury goes retrograde this Sunday, so that's a whole nother topic for the week. Then lastly, I just got to point out Jupiter is at step 13, Libra. Step 13 is a magical number. This is just like the 13th floor in a hotel. Funky things go on at 13. Jupiter in Libra says it's time to create a new relationship to yourself that will turn into new relationships with others. And 13 means you are ready for a breakthrough. By the way, the full moon tomorrow is at step 22. So we'll be talking quantum and the power of I belong in 24 hours. So just to wrap up your zodiac weather, it's going to be a sunny day and chatty or pensive, and you're trying to get rid of that bottom level thinking. And now let's move on to our daily tea time. Go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our daily tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Before I dunk into today's topic, a shout out to my soul brothers and sisters in West Palm Beach, Florida. What's up? I just got back from Love Fest. We had an amazing event. I got to tell you, it was at the Marriott in West Palm Beach. And the cool thing about these little events is it's all my viewers that show up. And the people who listen to this show are in their hearts. They are trying. And they're growing every day. That's one of the things I'm super proud about my audience. We are actually growing. We are actually expanding. Read the comments. We are excited, and we have that really unfiltered fire of life in our tummies. And you get 30 of those people in a small room, okay? The energy gets intense. I think everyone left spiritually high. At least I was. It took a long time to fall asleep. It took a long time to come off of it. And really, everyone I met was just so wonderful. Some people drove 12 to 15 hours to be there. Some people gave huge donations. It was just wonderful. And I'm so grateful to all of you. I love all of you. Thank you for showing up. And I will post a couple of pictures of the event, particularly of all the fairies. You'll see what I mean, under my blog today at seriousjoy.tv. So today's topic for our tea time is why in threes? Why does everything happen in threes in the universe? And I gotta say, this actually comes from a viewer who posted this question to me on Facebook. So just so you know, when you folks ask questions, I actually do write them down, and I'll come back and talk about it, okay? And she wanted to know specifically, why does everything happen in threes in spirituality? Well, that's a very good question, and since today is the most 3 day of the entire year, I thought, let's talk about that 3. In fact, not only let's talk about it, let me give you some minor coaching you may not know. Ever since I started my journey in spirituality, I too noticed that things happened in threes. And of course, there's things like math and pi. Pi is 3.14, but again, around a 3. And you always saw things in threes, and things always sound better when they come out in threes. So why 3? Well, the best definition, or I guess the best affirmation that I got about this was from the book Conversations with God, which I've talked about many times by Neil Donald Walsh. But in this book, the God voice really resonated with me, and God explains why things are in 3. She says that basically the human reality as we know it is composed currently of 3 conscious dimensions, or 3 planes of existence. And he goes on to say, this is what Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is, or mind, body, and spirit, or past, present, and future. And one interesting element of this are the actual dimensions as they break down. Let's use mind, body, spirit. This is truly how our reality breaks down. You have a universal mind. By universal mind, I mean your thoughts in this reality cross over to your thoughts on the other side. So we keep our mind when we die and pass on. We keep the same mind, the same thoughts, the same thinking inside of us. Apparently, that does not change. Then there is the body, and the body is the manifestation, the experience of life. So we have our body and the experience of life, and we have our mind, and then we have what we call the spirit. Now, it turns out the spirit is our emotions, because emotion is the communicator of the soul. The soul communicates through emotion. So our feelings or our emotions are what our soul is saying. We have what our mind is saying, we have what our body is saying, and we have what our soul is saying. Everything in our 3D reality is processed from these three basic sides of us. What we're thinking, what we're embodying or doing, and what we're feeling. And that brings me to really the power of 3 and why 3 can be a magical number. It's been my experience as Sensei helping people manifest reality, because that's my favorite thing to teach, is how to manifest reality, that a lot of people fail to law of attract what they want because their mind, their body, and their spirit are not aligned. And because they're not aligned, they cannot believe. Step 3, I believe. So what does this mean? It means that if your heart wants to do something or you feel you're going to go a certain direction, your mind cannot be contrary to that and talking you out of it the whole time. Your mind has to be in synchronicity with the goal and not working against you. And that alone is where most of my clients goof up, is their own mind is constantly going against what they're trying to manifest or suggesting otherwise. Remember, from The Secret, thoughts become things. And that's true. The mind is 1/3 of our three-dimensional reality. Or people may be very mindful, but they may not be embodying what they're thinking. They may not be putting it into reality. So you basically have to do what you think. Otherwise, you're going to have a breakdown in manifesting. And then there's the last, which is your spirit and your feelings. Your mind may be all on board. You may be in the job and doing it, but you really may not feel like doing this. Your soul may not be in it. And so that would be the third dimension in that case breaking down. So today, as we are at step 21, when it starts to get fun, and we're opening the doors to what I call unlimited possibilities, you want to keep your mind open today to what's possible. And if you know where you want to go and you know what you want to do, then today of all days, check to see if your mind, body, and spirit are in fact aligned. If they're not aligned, you'll find you don't believe in what you're doing. And quite often it's because of one of these dimensions is broken down or not aligned that people don't believe, and as a result, they don't law of attract and manifest. One last interesting little thing. You've all heard the term Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Well, this describes basically the three dimensions of manifestation, which is Father is the God or creator. The Son is literally the Son of God or the aspect, which would be you, your heart, basically. And then the Holy Ghost. What is the Holy Ghost? I always asked as a child, I always wondered in Catholic Church, what is this Holy Ghost thing? Turns out the Holy Ghost is our emotions, our spirit, what we feel. So there, even in that context, it is the Father, the Creator, the Son, the heart, and what we are feeling. These are the three dimensions of our life. Ask yourself today, what are you feeling, and are they aligned with your thoughts and what you embody? All right, friend, this kicks off our week ahead. It's going to be a powerful 24 hours of the full moon. I'll be back tomorrow with more. And if you haven't heard, I'm hosting a holiday reading sale where you can save $50 off a 1-hour reading with me or $25 off a half-hour reading with me. For more details, visit wateki.me. All right, my friend, that's all I have for the day. Have a fabulous, wonderful, sunny day out there. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.
Live, love, be.